Nathan, let's talk about the man of the moment, Charlie Dixon. How confident could you be of playing him again and at the AFL level this week?
Look, he had his first hit out Saturday, and look, it was good for him to be out there. It wasn't a game where the ball moved too free-flowingly, given the conditions. He's probably a little off his usual movement currently, but whether that's good enough or not this week, we'll find out as the week goes on.
How's he reported the ankle feeling?
Yeah, I think he's moving okay and feeling okay. I mean, things are always a bit sorer when you lose, but no, he's going okay.
And can he play AFL this week?
Oh, he can. It's just whether he will or not.
So when you do get him back up, and you've got already Georgiades, Finlayson and Marshall now working nicely as a tandem, how do you handle that headache, because that's in your division?
Yeah, well, more good players is always a good headache, so we'll work it out as we go. If you put it back 2 weeks, it probably didn't feel, it was a different sort of headache, so I'd much prefer this one.
You had, when you had 4 tours last year, in addition to Ruckman, I think only lost 1 game. Is that something that you'll look at again, maybe going the 4 tall attack?
It's certainly possible. I mean, it's just around having enough legs in the forward line that we can get up the ground and still support our team defence. So, that's something we'll look at depending on Charlie's fitness and other players within the forward line.
How big a decision will that be, considering the Maggies have got to buy this well, go play this weekend?
Oh, it certainly impacts. Orazio's available as well to play footy this week. The Magpies buy is not ideal for those guys, but we get a full training week and we'll have a look later in the week.
If you're doing some kind of match simulation, even intra-club, given that there's no Maggie's game, to get those guys fit if they don't play AFL?
They're more likely to have an extended session. The guys that don't go to Tasmania, there's not quite enough players left to have an intra. It'll be 4v4.
Does the nature of the trip come into the decision as well? Going all the way to Tassie and cold and big on his joints.
Yeah.
Does that come into it as well?
Well, it's probably more the conditions at the ground and what the weather forecast looks like and how many bigger people we can carry. But I think the good thing is he's back up and going. Orazio coming back. We've got someone else that's back up and going. Jeremy played a really strong game. Todd played a really strong game. George is getting shots on goals. So there's a lot of good signs.
Is Georgiades capable of having a role outside of the forward 50? Do you see him developing into some other type of player in that area?
I think he's a third-year player that didn't play the year he got drafted. So he's still very much early in his development phase, and he's got the legs to get up and down the ground, which he does do and uses it to his advantage. It's more developing his whole game. So we're doing that a little bit with Lachie Jones at the moment, playing him a bit more midfield when he plays SNFL, so we get a chance to develop his whole game, and Mitch needs to do that as well, I think, to be more effective higher up the ground, but he's certainly got the ability and he gets little moments of it during games where he does that well.
He's been dedicated with his goal kicking and his routine, but it hasn't worked just recently.
Yeah.
What's the issue there? Is he sensing something different?
Look, there's a few things within his routine that are clear. He's lacked momentum on Friday night. His walk was a little bit slower, and without going into too much detail about what his routine looks like.
So it's more technical than
there was some technical, and then I think it starts to get into the headspace, which is, the reality is things will work itself out in the wash. I think he's actually meant to be our leading goal scorer so far, Mitch, on the shots he's got. Todd's off the charts in terms of accuracy, and Mitch is off the charts in terms of inaccuracy.
Just on Todd, I mean, after it was round 2, everyone was kind of coming for him to extend, but he's turned it around. I mean, is there anything he's kind of done in particular that's resulted in this probably career best form for him?
Played a lot better. Yeah, that certainly helped. I really like how he's starting to take ownership of the forward line and put himself in more contests. That's as much for him. He can be a little bit too polite. A bit like when he didn't take the advantage in the second quarter on the weekend and gave it back to Ollie. It's like too polite. Like, be the man. Go win the contest and get the ball. He's such a nice team player that if he gets, he's got to go and actually put himself in the contest. So look, I've been wrapped for Todd the last month or so how he's been performing. We want to turn it into something that's sustainable for him.
Is that the silver lining of Dixon missing the first chunk of the year? He probably doesn't have that opportunity to make it his own forward line with him here.
Yeah, I think there's always opportunities whenever there's a crisis, and certainly when you lose your first 5, there's a crisis. But in that 5th game, Connor goes into the midfield and makes it his, and then Todd gets an opportunity, and a couple of opportunities, to shine in the forward line, and now he's taken that chance, and we've got to run with it.
How about Zach Butters' role? It seems like he's played a bit more forward last couple of weeks. Is that sort of a carry on of the sickness he had, or is that a result of kind of going into the midfield and sort of?
No, we've sort of balanced those guys with Trav, and they're all playing a little bit more, forward mid. Zach spent plenty of time around the ball on the weekend. I mean, his form was down a little bit. Friday night he was good the week before, but he was pretty ill the week before that. So there is, sometimes there's a bit of lag in terms of how you're feeling and how many contests you can get to.
Any update on Riley Bonner?
Riley's not broken, so that's good. It's a standard sprain. I've been told there's no syndesmosis. Okay, so I imagine he's unlikely to play this week, but it's a significant sprain, but it is a sprain.
Just on the right, is he? Could he be fit enough to play at AFL level this weekend? He's missed the AFL.
Yeah, well, we're told he is. He's done a bit more than Charlie in terms of running volume. We've put him through something of a mini pre-season because of the amount of training that he'd missed, and he's pretty close to being ready to go. I think it'd be unlikely we'd select him certainly in the 22 this week, but he's available.
Is that ahead of schedule? It feels like a few weeks ago I felt like it was a fair way away.
Yeah, it does feel like that, doesn't it? It feels like he was never going to play again for a while. It's nice the speed that he's been able to come back from this time. There's been plenty of interruptions during the off season, but it's good to get him back moving well, and it'd be nice to see him play again.
Just on the move, you talk about how 0-5 felt like a bit of a crisis, or externally it was a crisis.
Yeah.
Have you noticed a definite shift in confidence and the mood in the club?
I think we've been really consistent as a footy club, even through the tough times, and the players have been really upbeat and positive about what we're working on, and now we're starting to get some reward for that. The reality of our start is it doesn't give us any opportunities to take a breath, and you've got to keep playing strong footy each week because the losses have already accrued, and you got to keep winning.